Hello guys, welcome to Basic Math page on Facebook, and on YouTube we are Basic Math Academy. So please support our various platforms for teaching and learning. So today on this video I'm going to look at the following questions, which are based on trigonometry for high school learners. So basic math for high school learners. Guys, here we have a proof. Prove the following identities. So we are going to look at identities where possible. Okay, right here I want to pick. Yes, I'm going to pick and solve the first question, the second question with you guys right on these videos. Okay, so let me remind you of these identities here. So we have sine squared x plus cos squared x, which is equal to 1. You need to keep that in mind. And we have tan x, which is equal to sine x over cos x, and the rest of the double angle identities. All right, great. So if you have this with you, then we are good to go. Right now, let us go and look at the question given. The first question states that prove the following identity. So these are the identities. We have the left hand side and the right hand side. So what we are asked or required to prove is that we should show or prove that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. All right, so how do we work out this problem? So we are going to work out this problem in this way. Guys, look at the most complicated side between the left and the right. So if you look at this, we can see that the left hand side is more complicated compared to the right hand side. Okay, great. So we are not going to change the 1. Okay, we are not going to change the 1 because I know that there are people who would be tempted to change this 1 into sine squared plus cos squared x. So we are not going to do that, because as you can see, right, it's not going to give us what is on the left hand side. Rather, we are going to go with the left hand side. Okay, so we don't have the identity for sine of x. I'm going to write sine of x multiplied by the following identity, or the following trig ratio, yes, is tan of x. So we know that tan of x is the same as sine of x over cos of x. So we are going to change that to sine x divided by the cos of x, all right, plus the cos of x, since we don't have the identity for cos of x here, or right at this level. Okay, so we have a fraction here. This is sine x over cos x. I'm going to make this sine x a fraction by dividing it by a 1. So, okay, I'm going to now multiply this fraction by that fraction. So how do we multiply this? We're going to multiply the numerators, then we multiply the denominators as well. Numerator by numerator. So sine x multiplied by sine x, we are going to receive sine squared x divided by the 1 does not affect the cos x. So the cos x, guys, remains. So what is left here is the cos of x. Okay, and I'm going to repeat what I did here because I have a fraction here. I'm going to make this cos x a fraction by dividing it by a 1. All right, so I'm going to get a common denominator from these two, that is cos of x. Okay, this is the new denominator for the two fractions. I'm gonna take this new denominator, divide it, all right, by this old denominator. So since these two trig ratios are the same, when you divide them you receive a 1. So you take the 1, you multiply by the numerator. So sine squared x times 1, the 1 comes from dividing these two, so the 1 does not have effect on the sine squared x. So plus, this plus is the plus in the middle of the fractions. All right, now we're going to repeat the same thing on this fraction. So I'm going to take this new denominator, divide it by this 1. The 1 has no effect, so I'm still going to remain with cos x. Then I take the cos x, I multiply by the cos x there. So it's going to be cos squared x. Okay, that is cos squared x. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that sine squared x plus cos squared x is equal to 1. So that is going to be a 1 divided by cos of x. All right, so this is the answer, right? Because we were asked to prove whether the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So definitely the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Okay, they are equal. We have proved that just right here with these few steps. All right, let us look at the next question. Right, yes, if you guys did not understand, please watch all over again this part of the video. All right, I'm going to move on to the second question, which is still on proving the identity, proving that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Left is equal to the right. As you can see here, the most complicated side is our left hand side in this case. So we're going to prove that this is equal to that, right? Okay, so guys, we have parentheses here, or brackets, so which means we are going to multiply. We are going to multiply this fraction by this sine of x. When we are done, we're going to multiply this, right, by that. All right, first this multiplied by that, and then secondly this multiplied by that. This is a multiplication, right, denoted by this parentheses or brackets. Okay, now let us go ahead and do that. I'm going to multiply this by that, so I'm going to write it like this: sine of x, all right, multiplied by sine of x divided by 1 plus the cos of x. All right, I'm writing it in this way so that you guys don't get confused. I want you to observe, okay, forgetting the equal sign. I don't want you to forget anything, but to observe every step, okay, because these things can be kind of confusing for some other learners. Okay, I am done. I multiply this by that, and it's this. All right, what is remaining is this multiplied by that. So what is the answer? The answer is tan of x, all right, multiplied by sine of x divided by 1 plus cos of x. All right, please, this can be a bit confusing, okay, but I want you guys to follow. Yes, I want you guys to follow and be careful with whatever I'm going to do here. So from the previous question, remember when I had a question, I mean a fraction here, I make what I'm multiplying with a fraction as well. So I have two fractions to multiply both the numerators and the denominator. So I'm going to make this over 1, okay? So I have a fraction multiplying a fraction. So multiplying the numerator, sine x multiplied by sine x, guys, what do we get? That is sine squared x divide by. So we are done with the numerators. Let's do it for the denominator. This multiplied by that, so we are going to receive. So be careful with this, because we have 2 here, we have 1 here. So it's the same as what we did. We multiply this by that, then we followed by multiplying this by that. So I'm going to multiply this 1 by the 1. Okay, 1 multiplied by 1 is 1 multiplied by 1, 1. 1 multiplied by the cos x is plus the cos x. No change, nothing changes. Then I write down the plus, this plus from the middle. All right, so repeating the same thing here. Okay, I make this a fraction since I have a fraction over here. All right, so let's multiply the numerators. Tan x multiplied by sine x. So I'm going to have sine x multiplied by tan of x, or tan x. All right, so this is the same as what we did here. So 1 times 1 is 1, plus 1 times cos of x is cos of x. All right, great. Now remember, I know that tan of x is the same as sine x over cos x, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to deal with this fraction. Let me get a common denominator from the two. So it's 1 plus the cos of x. 1 plus the cos of x. So I'm going to go into this fraction and to that fraction as well. Let us begin here. This new denominator divide by the old denominator. We are going to receive 1 since these are the same. They are the same. And then 1 multiplied by the numerator. The numerator doesn't change. Plus. Okay, let's repeat the process here. This divide by that, it's 1 times that, it doesn't change. So we have sine of x multiplied by the tan of x. So just be careful, guys. Be careful and let it be clean. Okay, all right, wonderful. So what is it that we can do right now? Let us go ahead and change this. Okay, the identity of tan x. Okay, let's write the identity. Sine squared x plus sine of x multiplied by, what is the identity of tan x? Is sine of x divided by the cos of x. Okay, all of this divided by 1 plus the cos of x. Don't forget to write that, okay, because now it can look a bit complicated. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Okay, so we just changed the tan of x into sine of x over cos of x. So I'm gonna make this a fraction. All right, I hope, guys, you can understand that. All right, I'm gonna continue everything right on this paper. Let us copy down the sine x here. Sine squared x, sine squared x plus. All right, since here we have a fraction, let us go ahead and multiply. You see, you have a multiplication in between sine x, we got sine squared x divided by the 1 times the cos is cos of x. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. All of this, put it here. We divide by, what do we divide by? By this. I just changed the format of writing. Okay, instead of writing this line as division, I'm going to write this sign. Okay, alongside everything. So this division, I've changed it into this format. All right, so divide by 1 plus cos of x over 1. Right, just make it over 1. We have fraction, we make a fraction. Okay, great. So I'm gonna make this a fraction as well. If we have a fraction, and then let this be a fraction. All right, I hope you guys are following. Don't get tired, don't give up. We are about to finish this problem. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with everything inside here. Because we have a plus, let us get the common denominator, that is cos of x. Okay, for this parenthesis, then I'm going to change this division into multiplication. So when you change a division to multiplication, you also have to change your fraction. Okay, you have to write the reciprocal. So the 1 becomes the numerator, and the 1 plus cos x becomes the denominator. You have to know that when you change a division into a multiplication, you also change the position of the fraction. The numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator. Okay, so I hope you guys are not confused by that. Let's go back here. This cos x is a common denominator for these two fractions. So I'm gonna divide this new denominator by this one. So it's gonna be this divided by that, doesn't change, then we multiply by that. It's the same process all over again. So I'm gonna receive sine squared x cos x, okay, plus, oh my god, the space is so small. Okay, so the same thing is going to happen here. I'm going to have sine squared x sine, oh my god, oh, the space. All right, you guys, please forgive me. I'm gonna do away with that so that I get myself a bit of space. There is no space. I'm gonna repeat that. So divide by cos of x. So this divide by that. All right, I hope you can see now. So this divide by 1 is cos x, then I multiply by that. So I'm gonna get sine squared x cos x. Okay, let's go ahead. Plus, I'm gonna do it on the this fraction. Cos is 1, then you multiply. So we're gonna multiply. All right, I think I had spaces. Okay, it was my mistake. I did not multiply well. So divide this by that. It's 1. 1 times that is sine squared x. Okay, so okay, we are good to go. It's fine, guys. Then we are introducing the multiplication. Okay, this was okay, 1 plus cos of x. Okay, so yeah, I told you guys it can be confusing somewhere somehow. So my mistake was the multiplication. All right, now we have this perfectly. What are we going to do right here? We are going to multiply this bracket by that bracket. So 1 times everything, nothing changes. So it's sine squared x cos x plus sine squared x divide by. So this denominator by that denominator. So it means that cos x you multiply by 1 doesn't change, it's cos x. But cos x is cos squared x. Okay, so from here we can see that the best thing to do right here is to factorize. Okay, so that we can divide certain trig ratios. Okay, so we're trying to simplify this by factorization. So what is common here? It's sine squared. I'm going to take sine squared outside the parenthesis. Then I'm going to remain with cos x plus a 1. Okay, what do we have underneath? What is common is cos x. Okay, inside the parenthesis is 1 plus cos of x is equal to. So as you can see, guys, that this bracket, this parentheses are the same. So this and that divides, you are left with 1. So the remaining is sine squared x multiplied by cos x. I'm going to take it this side. So this is sine x multiplied by sine x divided by cos x. Okay, yes. All right, so because this is Why did I do that? Because we have sine squared, so sine times sine is sine squared, so I'm writing it in that format. All right, so is equal to, I'm going to continue right here. Let me try to write it clearly. Sine x over cos x is equal to, so you can see that this is the same as that. Okay, so sine x over cos x, we have seen that is the identity. This is the identity of tan, so multiplied by tan of x. So the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Proven. So this is how, guys, you go about it. Please subscribe on our YouTube channel. The link is going to be posted. I'm gonna continue on our next video on this